because no, really, and that's not to say these guys are typical. They got angels. They like
Across the Pacific Atlantic is ours. The force of the mystic, the planet is ours. Chemical powers that slanted to sour. Botanical gardens, we planted the flower. The hour, the hands that empower. More diesel than plants sour. More lethal than grams of the powder. Expanding my power. No people programming my hours. Finest in traffic with traffickers. Trafficking finest of fabrics. Designers is African. Shriners is Arabic. 44 Mavericks. 24 carat drip. 42 savages. Always some savages. Slaves to the lavish shit. Saving them Africans. Pages of papyrus. Age of the activists. Waving the magic stick. Raised to the Nazareth. Raised to the Lazarus. Red stones on my red throne. Red throne at these red bones. In a red robe with the red robe. Roll with the blue steel on the blue moons. Hot as blue. Blueprints, even blues clues, all this blue money that I blew through. I am a king, I am a scholar, I am from royalty, I am T'Challa, Wakanda forever, Killmonger forever. I'm true to Shambhala, I'm new to Kabbalah. The ink of a scholar worth more than the blood of a martyr, worth more than the drugs in the Carter. The sword that can cut through the armor, the Lord that can crush you through karma is such a dishonor. I'm plugged from the matrix with digital pills. Know my deals with indigenous bills. Fuck all the frivolous thrills. Bitch, I got bridges to build, bridges to fill. Free Gargamel, I got midgets to kill. City of God like I've been to Brazil. A dentist to fill, rinsing is still. If you enter my feeling, I said you gon' swill. Red stones on my red throne. Red throne at these red bones. In a red robe with the red robe. Fence probe when them dicks roll. With the blue steel on the blue moons. Hot as blue flames doing blue shrooms. Got the blueprints, leaving blues clues. All this blue money that I blew through. Puffin' on ganja, we fucking up commas. Sacred geometry, face of anomalies. Chasing ideology, chasing on Halloween. Bracing economy, great trigonometry. Teaching lobotomy, teaching philosophy. Ancient as Socrates, raping the sodomy. Even apology, ancient neutrality. Fuck all the drama, let's fuck up some comments. This King A.T. Eddie was fucking Madonna. Love for the genre, I'm busting my llamas. These fucking piranhas and words of Killmonger. Buried at sea with the fucking piranhas. We selling them hope like you fucking Obama. We selling them dope like we fucking Osama. Life is the bitch, let's just call her Madonna. Adopted a twin from hotels in Rwanda. Red stones on my red throne. Red throne at these red bones. Red robe with the red robe. Fence probe with them heads roll. With the blue steel on the blue moons. Hot as blue flames doing blue shrooms. Got the blueprints, leaving blues clues. All this blue money that I blew through. Peace to the fan, peace to the fan. Welcome to Melanin Monday, episode 43, featuring your brother, Red Pill. The song that you just heard that I opened up with is entitled Twin. That is the lead single off the double album Twin that is currently on our website, twinthealbum.com. You can find it on the streaming services. You can find it on our website, twinthealbum.com. You can find it on thetwinpillars.bandcamp.com. On that website, as well as some mixtapes that we did for KTL Radio going all the way back to 2011. We got a song where we got a drop from Big Meech. You know what I'm talking about? Giving Red Pill and Blue Pill and Nodal Ledge Radio a shout out from behind the wall. Just giving you an idea about who's listening to the information and how it's impacting people. Big Meech, that's on Mama. You know what I'm saying? Go and look it up. Put Big Meech and KTL. You know, your big homie, the person that everybody is emulating, the big homie's big homie. You know, they're getting the information behind the wall. So yeah, that hat is super mean. This is, if you put light, I might, hold on, let me see. Shine some light on this shit and it'll glow in the dark. You know what I'm talking about? This is one of them reflectors. Shout out to my dude, Copper Child Mike. This is a birthday present. He blessed me with a birthday present yesterday. Let me also show you some of my presents. You know, you in a good community where your people come and give you gifts on your birthday, for your born day.
you know. Woo. Look at this right here. Birthday present. You know what I'm saying? You're in a good community where them people come and bring you birthday gifts. Oh, if there ever was a day where we gonna hear that if them coins going off, that would be today because my born day is on Wednesday. All right. It's Mama Pill's birthday. She gave birth to us. My born day, the day that matter of fact, let's put the jury on while we do this today. Okay. Let you know. Shout out to my people. Shout out to everybody who was gifting the gods yesterday at that event, that monumental event that we were at St. Francis College in Brooklyn. Red pill, blue pill, Cambada. Brother Rich came later on. Renoko Rashidi, Professor James Small, and Dr. Leonard Jeffries. Legends, each one of them in their own right. I'm talking about super duper legend icons, real elders, like not olders, but these are elders. These are people, these are elders who have been doing this. They've earned a right in the title because elder is a title. It's not you get old, your teeth fall out, you need Geritol, and you're an elder. It doesn't work like that. Elder is a title, the same way that Mr. is a title. Everybody doesn't receive a Mr. in front of their name. So, elders. Yes, Baba. Baba was in the building. Shout out to Baba TV, the legend. Baba was in Brooklyn yesterday, representing, turning up. He pulled up. You know what I mean? Everybody should have pulled up because when the elders are in the building, everybody needs to pull up. That's one thing that you should always know, that whenever elders come to town or whenever the elders are putting something together, go and pay homage to the elders. Go and break bread with the elders. Go and just let the elders see your ass in a seat because they deserve that for all of the arduous work. They're the bridge builders that Negroes are standing and crossing over. There's a bridge along this information highway. There's a bridge in the Aquarian age that enables you to cross the water so you could go and get a drink of water in this water bearer age. But who built the bridge? And every time that you cross the bridge and you don't pay any tolls on the bridge, you're adding on, you know what I'm saying, to the bridge decaying. You know what I mean? You should build bridges instead of burn them. We should build more bridges instead of burn them. We should build more bridges instead of burn them. This is the burn your fucking bridge community sometimes. Not the conscious. This is the burn the bridge community. Burning every fucking bridge known to mankind since YouTube was launched. You know what I mean? That should be the subtitle because Negroes have perfected burning bridges on a global scale. You know what I'm talking about? Motherfuckers have perfected burning bridges in this community. They have ruined all kind of relationship, burnt all kind of bridges, shut all kind of doors, collapsed all kind of fucking pillars that the elders helped put up in a span of 10 years since the launch of YouTube in this community. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. Okay, it's early morning. Like I said, if there's gonna be any day where the motherfucking coins are dropping, let it be today, because today is a day that we celebrate a monumental fucking year, okay, and my 43 revolutions around the sun, because my new year is not January 1st. Let's be clear. That's the fiscal new year. That's when the calendar resets for both customers and hustlers. What do you mean, Red Pill? I mean this, that calendar is a calendar for entrepreneurs and people who are self-employed and people who get to the bag to know when the motherfucking bag is coming. That's a fiscal calendar. And for customers, people who like to shop and shit and just throw their money into the fucking wind and their money has Red Bull wings on it, they look at that calendar as a time to buy. They don't make no money. They just spend. They're not circulating. They're spend. They're not growing. they're depreciating. You know what I'm talking about? They're not adding value. They're lessening. They're taking away and minusing values. These are decisions the individuals make on impulse buying by themselves. Nobody's tying their hands. Nobody's doing anything. Nobody's pushing them in the motherfucking stores. You know what I'm saying? This is the shit that they do. And they don't put their money where their motherfucking mind is. That's what they do. So as a result of the choices that we make in life, niggas suffer. This is the age of suffrage. But in the age of suffrage, it's all kind of power. Inside of suffrage is the fucking lesson. You know what I'm talking about? Inside of the suffrage is the power. So if you could, if you know how to extract, if you know how to pull the diamond out of the mind, if you know how to go inside deep in the motherfucking lava and pull that fine that sword, that iron that was forged out of it, then you're a beast. Oh, you know what I'm talking about? Like you will be rewarded. But if not, if you don't know how to swim, nigga, you're fucking you're shark food. You feel me? You're food for the sharks. You're food for the sharks. So know what role you're playing and play it. You know what I'm saying? Know the role that you're playing and play that shit. That's the problem with a lot of people. They don't play their role. And that's why this whole shit is the way that it is, because Negroes are not playing their roles. And they're trying to assign roles that don't fit them. And they're trying to step into shoes that weren't made for them. You know what I'm talking about? That's why this shit is in this situation. That's not the only reason, but that's one of the reasons why these bridges keep getting burned by people who are intentionally setting arsons. These niggas are arsonists. And I'm not talking about Arsonist the Rebel from Smack. Shout out to the God when he cooked New Jersey twerk this weekend. No, I'm not talking about that arson. I'm talking about these niggas are just saboteurs. Go and research agent provocateur. Go and research saboteurs. People are sabotaging the greatness of this community. When I watched the elders yesterday demonstrate, it reminded me how far niggas got to go to be on that level. Okay, there's something called integrity. There's something called character. There's something called integrity. There's something called character. There's something called discernment. Being able to listen, being able to watch, being able to observe, being able to receive what's being given to you and have the discernment to receive it or not. That is a choice that you have. But when I sit in front of these elders and I'm receiving this information, this wisdom, this knowledge, I'm like, yo, these are men of respect. These are men of poise. You can tell how older age, right? Now that my solar return is on Wednesday, we could talk about that older age myth that people run with. It's a flawed program. You supposed to celebrate as you mature. Nigga, we're bottles of wine. How can you not celebrate your refinery? There's things that somebody who are in their 60s have an overstanding of a whole innate knowledge of that I can't grasp because I have not lived and experienced that amount of solar revolutions to even pick up that knowledge. It comes in motherfucking community service hours. Don't ever in your life try to elevate somebody who's a fucking teenager over somebody who has lived here longer than them and experienced the shit that they're experiencing as a teenager 3 or 4 or 20 times fold. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Nobody born in the 90s could tell me anything if you didn't live through that shit. Nobody who was born in a fucking after Y2K has an opinion about how fucking great the world is if you didn't experience the 80s. And I got to explain that shit to you. No, if you didn't experience that, nigga, you're lacking. It's like coming in the fucking 3-hour movie, 2.5 hours talking about, yeah, I'm the star of the show. No, what the fuck are you talking about? You were created as a result of the show even being started. Real talk. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Nigga, you're living out our dreams. You're living out, nigga, we created you with the fucking word. What are you talking about? You're a creation of this generation, of this culture. The 70s babies and the 80s babies are the architects of this whole world that you live in, this reality, whether it's a dream or a nightmare. It has been molded. I said it before. what happened in the tunnel era inside that club called the Tunnel in New York City, when Puffy had his reign, when Jay-Z came up, when Biggie, right before he died, when he was popping, when Funkmaster Flex got his rise, the Tunnel era, where niggas from Brooklyn, Queens, Harlem, and the Bronx wrote the manuscript that helped change the world. This was before Master P. This was before Cash Money. This was before, I'm not taking anything away from the West Coast because they were popping back then. And I'm not taking anything away from the South because they were popping back then. In Texas, in the Midwest, all of them. Bone Thugs, everybody was popping. No, we're not set tripping right now. But what we're saying is there was a specific code, an algorithm, mind you, a code that was written it was written in the 90s, sort of like in the late 80s. This is what's the mind state, the what is called the egregor, the stuff that went around the world where they say hip hop is the most popular culture and it has dominated world culture. I'm talking about that shit right there. That was enhanced. It wasn't created. It was upgraded and enhanced during that era. This identified in New York City as the Tunnel era. Do your homework. So all about the Benjamins, all of these spells that were casted, words are spells. The books, the rhyme books would be known as grimoires back in the medieval times, back when we were mystics and whatnot and sorcerers. We would carry what are known as memoirs, which would be books of spells, but the spells would rhyme. The spells would rhyme and we would cast them and we would speak them into existence. That is what some people, not all, that is what some people, not all, you know what I'm talking about? Certain people's throat chakra isn't activated. Certain people did not come here to do what it is that you know, they have not come here to do the job that certain other people have come here to do. I'm talking about when you're living out that purpose. You can terraform and you could create realities with the word. Okay. Henceforth, the song that I was just playing when we opened up in this movie, I watched it 100 times already, but we're going to get into that in a minute. So the Tunnel era is not just the Tunnel nightclub. It's just an era where partying, where party and bullshit took over with the designers and all of that. Gucci, Fendi, Louis, you know what I mean? All of that stuff. Remember, Dapper Dan is MCM. He's Gucci. He's Louis for the 80s and whatnot. Then when Big and Puff and all of them came with that Versace shit, when they came with that, it's all about the Benjamin shit. When they came with that flossing shit, when they came with them brands, you know, we were Polo, we were Lowlifes, Hilfiger. When they introduced Versace, Moschino, and all of this other stuff into the mix, that's when we leveled up and we got into that designer, we got into that couture, we got into and remember, you respond, your mind state and your everything begins to change based off of your uniform. So when you start putting on 100, when your outfit is about 10 racks, when your shit elevates to about $20,000, you wearing 20 racks. You feel me? And you didn't buy this with your mama's money and whatnot. Like, you magically making shit just come together. Yo, it's a different kind of mind state. This is all about being in a certain kind of flow state. This is about enthusiasm. This is about being able to make the magic work. Whether you're knuckle dragging, whether you want some God shit, whatever fucking level that you're on, you're still doing alchemy. You're still cooking. You're still doing certain kind of mind magic because all is mental, all is mind. So just some people do it with an awareness versus some people not having the awareness, but that does not take away the fact that they're not doing it. You know what I'm talking about? Because you're going to become conscious of shit that you were doing all the way back in the days that you didn't know you were you were like, how did I know that back then? You know what I'm talking about? Because you were unconscious conscious, meaning you were who the fuck you were before you got here. You know what I'm saying? What all this is basically, it's not just, you know, one thing, but what it is you know, this path of enlightenment is basically you shedding all of these ideas of who the fuck you think you are, and you're not anything like you're not any of that. You know what I'm saying? You're not any of that. You're just your memories, but you're much greater than that. And that's what this is going to show you. So, you know, that era was very instrumental in the world that we live right now, nothing has changed. You don't talk to me about the Migos. Don't talk to me about anybody. Nothing has changed. They're only living through. They have not upgraded that algorithm. They have not changed that code. The architects have not gotten into the we. It has not changed from what the fuck it was when we were standing on couches in the 90s. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Y'all might think that y'all doing something, but no, you're not doing anything. No offense, but you're not doing nothing because it's all about we don't do carbon copies. It's not we don't wear I don't wear retros. If it's not the original, I'm not doing it. You're dealing with facsimiles of some original shit. If you wasn't in the tunnel, my nigga, all of this shit niggas is trying to do, it doesn't mean anything. If you wasn't in fucking 112 in Atlanta, if you know what I mean, if you wasn't in Otto's, you know what I mean, like it's certain type of things that this shit that they're doing right now is it's a joke. And no offense, I don't mean to be on some old, back in my days, but I'm just saying, create new memories. I'm an innovator. I don't get on the motherfucking bandwagon. I'm a trendsetter. I'm a pioneer, and that's just who I am. I am that I am. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna deny myself to make nobody feel better. I know what I do. I know where the fuck I'm at. That's where it's popping. You know what I'm saying? Like I've never been somewhere and it was popping somewhere else. How about that? Like where the fuck I'm at, that's where it's usually at. So I'm obviously in the right place at the right time. You know? So, respect to everybody from that era, love and light, but just know if you're from that era, it is of utmost importance that you do everything in your power to make this shit do what it do. You have to take control. You have to steer the narrative. You have to help control the narrative. You got to share some gems with these young guards who didn't get this type of cloth from their quote unquote OGs. Don't ask me why. People obviously were talking about other things. You know what I'm saying? But we have to change. We have to change the conversation. We have to shift their paradigms. We have to basically introduce people to a narrative and a reality that is extended, that has a lot more weight than the shit that they're dealing with right now. You know? Yes, the best way to teach is by creation. And that's all. That's what this year has been for me. You know what I mean? I'm gonna reflect a little bit on my solar year on today's episode. I'm gonna go over some things, the milestones. You dig what I'm saying? The shifting events that happened this year, because you got to celebrate your year. Like I said, the fiscal year on January 1st, when the ball drops, that's one thing. My year starts the day of my birthday or my born day. Like I said, my mother gave birth to me, so it's her birthday. You feel me? So I have to gift her because she gave birth to me and my brother. We're twins. I have to gift her. She could have gave up on us. I lost my sister right before me and my brother was born. You feel me? So she could have been like, yo, I'm a feminist now. I'm not gonna have no more children. I hate black people. You dig what I'm saying? Because it was another black person who was responsible for my sister's, my baby sister's unfortunate, loss. So I salute Mama Pill. We got in the beginning of the twin video, her voice. We gotta, you know, paying homage to Mama. That's how our double album opens up with our mother. You know what I mean? With her voice. You know what I'm saying? With her voice. Real talk. You know, the Cash App is money sign PhilMoreland. Since you're asking, PhilMoreland. What do we need more of? Land. If you ain't trying to get some land, then we not on the same time. We definitely are not on the same time. No offense or anything, but you on some whole nother time. I don't know what time you might be on, but this is about that land right now. You know what I mean? This is about estates. People who have estates, people who have acreage, people who have access to these you know, to paperwork. Even if they went and took, even if the paper gangsters came and deboed some of your land, we still need to link up. You know what I'm talking about? Because there's some kind of, you have no idea what kind of powers you can invoke. You have no idea what kind of rights you can claim and throw off all of this paperwork and get your estates back. That's very important. People are just giving shit up. People are just losing. I'm talking about not 1 acre, not even the 40 acres that niggas was talking about. 400 acres. How about 4,000 acres? The people copper tone complexion and heavy melanated own all over in the islands, in the Carolinas, places all up and down America, all up and down America's borders. You know. No, you need to, if even if you don't share land, somebody said they wouldn't share land with these Negroes. Listen, cultivate your land, everybody, create a farm, do something with your land. Your land has resources. Your land is a way to basically build, it's a way to build generational wealth. It's a way to build generational wealth. If you have to go and research how to do it, then go ahead and reach out to somebody, pay for a consultation or something, go and get an expert to give you the information that you need, because it's out there, because people are actually doing it. It's not speculation. It's real shit. Only people who live in a land of victimhood or this land of make-believe do they not believe that people are actually progressing in this world. They think everybody is suffering, and that's not what it is. That's a reflection of where your mind is. If you think everybody in the world is in a suffering state and everybody in the world is in poverty and everybody in the world is going through it, and the only people in the world is doing good is people that's doing bad to other people, you're living in a fucking prison inside of your head. You dig what I'm saying? You're living in a sad place. You need to travel a little more and open up your mind state a little more and have a little more optimism for humanity, because everybody's not doing bad and everybody's not doing low down dirty shit in order to get their life together or to provide for their family or to be bosses. You know what I'm talking about? Or to be bosses. Because unfortunately, as a people, we've been taught back in a backwards way to look down on people who are handling their business, or to look down on people who dare to want to be bosses inside of this matrix, to swim upstream. You know what I mean? We don't encourage that as a people. We don't rally behind these people. We don't push them. We don't collectively get behind these people and support them and invest in them and love on them and make them grow the way that other nationalities and other communities do for their prodigies. And I've seen this time after time after time after time after time. So it's beyond speculation at this point. You know what I mean? We don't value each other. We don't value what each other brings to the table. But you let one European come and discover us, right? Sign us up to a default kind of loan, some tricky ass paperwork, put us on a motherfucking put us on one of their platforms, right? Dress us up in some of their Greco-Roman clothing, because usually that's what they'll do, right? Powder us up, surround us with a lot of other powder, right? White girls, you know what I'm talking about? All kind of other ethnicities, you know what I'm saying? And then sell us to the world, and then niggas respect you and they add value to you. And then anything that you say to the rest of the Negroes, right? That's what the Negroes take as law. That's what they take as word on God. So any of the lyrics that's inside of these songs, anything that these niggas tweet about, you know what I mean? Anything that anybody that they tell you to vote for, you know what I'm saying? Any kind of agenda that they tell you is the way, that's where the people are going in that direction. And and I don't think that you're utilizing what is known as the art of discernment. You have to use the art of discernment, because a lot of these people are bought and sold for. I'm not hating it one bit. I'm only observing what I know is a fact. Instagram just took down a post that I put up where I said black ignorance is $1 trillion industry. And that's just showing you the audacity. That's just showing you the hypocrisy in these media, in these quote unquote media sites or these social media sites. Remember, Instagram solicits Black ignorance to billions of people around the world in real time on a daily basis, and they've monetized it to where they're $1 billion company. Henceforth, Black ignorance is $1 trillion industry, and they took it down and said that I'm violating community guidelines. When the small these people who own these social media platforms, they're violating our community guidelines by soliciting and showing ratchetness, twerking, women prostituting themselves, bum fights, rat fights, men fights, LBGT brawls, school brawls, people shooting each other, you know, all of these challenges. You know what I'm talking about? Dudes getting fellatio. All of these things are on Instagram, right? You could legally run a prostitution ring on Instagram by swiping up. But they told me that I'm violating community standards and guidelines because I put a post up that said Black ignorance is $1 trillion industry. Now, that's a loaded statement. There's so many tenets to it. You dig what I'm saying? There are so many tenets to it. I'm not going to get into all of it right now, but damn, let me see. Yeah. I would have to stop my live on the gram to go on my Instagram and read it. But my brother Travel God Moore, he wrote an ill post. He made 20 different points on the coonish behavior, on the niggerish behavior, on the ignorant behavior that our people are displaying, right, around the world, unabashed, like unapologetically. You feel me? And it's been monetized by people who basically have figured out a way to make money off of our buffoonery, as they've always done. This is something that they've actually perfected. So now we're in a phase where it's actually being enhanced through the digital means of our mobile phones, your iPhones, your tablets, you know what I'm saying? And it's going around the world faster than it was going around the world when it was just on Amos and Andy, or when it was just on a minstrel show or one of the Nickelodeon shows. You dig what I'm saying? It didn't get around the world as fast as it's getting around the world right now. So we got to have this conversation as a people, collectively, as a community, whose children are swimming in these cesspools, whose loved ones are swimming in these cesspools of Black ignorance. And if we're on the opposite end of it and we're representing Black people, because it has actual real results of death, the deaf culture, hip hop, when utilized to promote shit like lean or fentanyl or drone that we know are putting people in a compromising state, a defocalized state of being where they could get taken advantage of. Basically, you know, promoting people to become slaves, because the prison complex industry shit is so out of hand at this point that you can honestly sit back and say, from the tunnel era, from the era that I was talking about called the tunnel era, when the programming of materialism, the programming of get it by any fucking means necessary, the programming of we need to all you know, praise and look up to and honor, right, and basically romanticize the drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? The drug dealer and the pimp, right? Not only the pimp, we need to honor and play and praise and to look up to and to give credence to the killer, right? The predator, the one who comes amongst us and takes from us, the one who comes amongst us and takes life away from us. But we didn't tell those killers that their duty or their job was to take away from amongst us those who were truly harming us, or those who were truly representing or the definition of terrorist amongst us. We didn't tell them to go and handle that. Niggas forgot about that part. You know what I'm talking about? Because with all of these killers doing all of this killing, right? In all of these killing fields, they coincidentally forgot to motherfucking aim at the real enemy. You know what I mean? Every time that they pulled up, they had so much shit in their mind that they forgot to they forgot to take care of that part. You know what I'm talking about? They forgot to take care of that part. They forgot to get busy against the real ops. So none of that shit means anything. It's all fucking moot. Real talk. The shit is in the ocean somewhere. It doesn't even qualify anymore. It's been erased. All of the records of all of the goonery and all of this gangsterism and all that shit, because Zimmerman is still here, right? And then he brought a whole fucking gang with him. The shit is like Goosebumps. That nigga opened up this motherfucking Pandora's box, and all of these goddamn white motherfucking winter is here. All of these fucking White Walkers have been coming. All of these Night of the Living Dead race soldiers have been pulling up on a Segway, washing niggas, right? And then the police, who are also their uncles and cousins, and you know what I mean, and some of their fathers, they're washing them. They're out here catching all kind of Hunger Game ops and whatnot. You know what I mean? They out here tagging niggas like Fortnite. And then on top of the other ignorance, they're elevating and they're basically putting in front of us like what Liar Cohen did when he was at when he was in charge of 300, and when he pushed Amigos, and then when he pushed Thugga Thugga, and then when he pushed a lot of these other mumble rappers and whatnot, and then when he went to YouTube, and all of a sudden the mumble rappers completely took over the game because their numbers began to triple. You know what I'm talking about? They went from 300,000 to 3 million to 300 million. That was at Liar's reign. He's an engineer. He's a social engineer alongside being a record executive. He's a Mossad agent who does the job in the biddings of small hats who have financial interest in the death culture of niggers, or the $1 trillion ignorance, black ignorance industry. They have monetized that to a place where they are living high on the hog. Real talk. Let's be honest. They have monetized our ignorance to the point where it's being it's multiple stocks. It's multiple stocks, and it's multiple bonds, and it's multiple securities, and it's multiple futures. You know what I'm talking about? All of my day traders. Do you understand what I'm trying to say to you? That they know how to monetize the level of ignorance that our people are on. So if we really want to identify some things that should be fixed in this upcoming year leading to 2020, and what I'm out here stumping for, what I'm out here campaigning for, with the initiatives and the solutions that me and the people that I'm affiliated are introducing to millions of people in real time, is what? That we have to promote unity, organization, entrepreneurship, and black excellence, real black excellence, which will be identified as black wisdom, black knowledge, not smart people playing dumb. You dig what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of wise men playing dumb amongst because the masses are considered the 85ers, and those are the manipulated consumer base. You can eat off of them the same way that you could take advantage of somebody who is having PTSD, or they may be suffering from mental health issues, or they may be suffering from self-esteem. The way that I would talk to them, how I console and I pour love into people who come amongst me, there are other people who would sell them a crack of rock, or there are other people who would sell them a bundle of dope, or there were other people who would just sell them a pill. It's the same kind of approach. It's the decision that you make based off of what level that you're on in your development. I decide that I would basically rise them up like Lazarus would rise you up from the living dead. That's what the red pill, that's what the blue pill, that's what KT the arch degree, that's what mama pill does. That is our acting. That is what we have demonstrated to the world. That's what my father, you know what I mean? That's what my son, that's what my daughter, that's what everybody that I'm surrounding myself with, that's what we do. We raise the living dead. We pull people from an uplifted, fallen state of humanity. And even sometimes we fall. we fall down and we get up. We fall down and we get up. When the Savior's just, yeah, that's my shit. You know what I'm saying? But there's other people who decide in this life that they're gonna be the opposite of that. When you come amongst them and you show some kind of weakness or a sickness or a flaw, right? Or you're vulnerable in any kind of way, they're gonna take full advantage of you. Okay? They're gonna molest you, they're gonna abuse you, they're gonna take full advantage, they're gonna fucking spin you. Real talk. And if you don't respect that, and if there's no value added to that, if there's nobody that can even pay homage to that, then I think that I'll be doing that shit for naught. It's a fucked up feeling to know that your people don't really respect that shit. They don't honor that. There's not a value system set up in this community that honors that, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? There's not a value system. There's not a reward system in 2018 that's set up inside of what is known as the conscious community, who has been responsible, because all is mental. You don't have to lift a fucking finger. All is mental. If you change if you are on your inception shit, if you could get into the subconscious of another human being and change them for the better, you are a fucking legend. In the year of 2018, what is known as the age of enlightenment, or the age of the Aquarian age, that the ancestors, if you're not living out the tenets of what they said that this age is, you're not even in this age. You niggas are walking in this time, but you're not of this time. It's almost like your niggas lost in time. And you can see those people when you look around. It's people lost in time. They're not in alignment with the proper time, the code, the signature, the algorithm, the binary language of what these days are requiring people to do. You're supposed to be God right now. You're supposed to be Godding right now. It's 2018. This don't got nothing to do with me. This don't got nothing to do with Red Pill. This has nothing to do with me per se. You don't got to do anything that I'm doing. You have to be Godding on your level. You got to be Godding to upgrade to a higher level. I don't give a fuck what level you're on right now. There's levels to this shit. You know what I'm saying? You're never on the highest level. There's still levels to this shit. And if you are on the plateau and you on the highest level, my nigga, reach down and pull some of us up then. You know what I'm saying? You're level up. That's all I'm saying. Level up. And the information that niggas is drowning in, you can't say that there's a lack of information. You can't say that there's not enough shit at your fucking fingertips, because it's not all books, my nigga, and it's not all niggas that you could watch on your phone all day. You know what I'm talking about? Talking about you like them and press like all day. No, it's not that. And it's not these fucking the goddesses that you niggas could stalk on in their DMs all day. It's not that. It's books out here, nigga. It's apps. It's programs. It's open source technology. It's all kind of stuff. It's income streams. It's opportunity to make it pop. I get tired in this new solar cycle, 43 leading up to 44 in 2020. I'm not talking. I've done enough talking in this solar cycle. Real talk. This solar cycle, like I said, this has been a very challenging, eye-opening. You feel me? They tried to take my freedom in this solar cycle. They try to put me in fucking a shallow grave in this solar cycle. I got my freedom tested. You understand? I lost my freedom. I got it tested. Real talk. Like, you have no idea the trials and tribulations of what this cycle represents. But I also met some very powerful people in this cycle. I also linked up with some gods and goddesses, and I feel that going into 2020, we're going to change the world in this solar cycle. You feel me? I also did a lot of stuff. I also put I shot my first episode of a film that I've always been talking about that I wanted to do in this solar cycle. I put out a double album, right? I put out a double album that the people are considering a classic. I feel like it's a classic, but I'm not one of those self-anointing type of persons that's gonna run around and try to give myself a title or, tell you what it is. The people is telling me that. A double album at that. A double album, 23 songs in between doing all of the stuff that we do in this community, for this community. Because I don't turn on when YouTube turns on. I don't turn on when my phone turns on. I don't turn on when I see niggas in the chat room. I'm on one all day. I'm on levels all day. There's no off button. There's no off switch. I'm on one at all times. You dig what I'm saying? I'm emitting motherfucking power around the globe at all times. The information that's been disseminated is doing its job at all times. It don't matter where I'm at. I could be doing whatever I'm doing. I could sleep well knowing that there's thousands upon thousands of people right at that moment being woken up, being introduced, or being inundated with information that I'm sharing right there. That's a good feeling. So, you know, this year was very eye-opening. I've learned a lot as well. People like they learned a lot from me and my bro. I learn a lot every fucking day. This is about self-discovery. People say know thyself, right? And they, because they saw it in Kemet, people think that know thyself only means to be onked up or to be comedic up and whatnot, to be, all committed, just comedic down. That's not what they're talking about. You missed the point. It has, because man know thyself shows up in other culture. It's not attached necessarily to metal nectar, or it's not attached to having, all of the iconography of the ancient world on your body. This is what I do. I choose to dress like this. I choose to exert myself like this. I choose to wake up. You know what I mean? I choose to adorn myself with my ancient estate. This is my estate. This comes from the earth. This comes from, you know what I mean? This is all part of the planet. This is also inside of me. Copper is inside of me. Quartz is inside of me. Gold is inside of me. Carbon is inside of me. It's inside of all of us. Well, maybe not all of us, but you get what I'm talking about. So I'm adorning myself, you know what I mean, with the elements that reside within. This is about man, know thyself. So self is a lot of things. Self is self-discovery. Man, know thyself, self-discovery, because a lot of people are into self-loathing. A lot of people are into self-destruction. A lot of people are into self-sabotage. So man, know thyself. Man, know, why do you self-sabotage? Why do you self-destruct? Man, know that you're self-destructing. Man, know how to stop. Man, know self-love. Man, know self-worth. Man, know selflessness. Man, know thyself. There's so many aspects of self. You niggas thought it was a fucking unk and a yoni egg. It's not that. It's not that. It's man, know thyself. Know the different selves. Self-discovery. Know that you are not the self. Know that who the fuck you thought you was, you're not that. Know that you're none of that. That's what you should know. Know that you are none of that, and you're everything at the same time. That's man, know thyself. Man, know thyself is being able to come in contact with self and being able to release self, knowing that that's not you. That's the persona of what you have emitted and whatnot, but that's not who you are. You're just, man, if you know what I mean, you're just observing. That's not you. So when you could release the ego, when you can see that, then man, know thyself begins to make more sense. It begins to make more sense. So we have to be able to get in touch with self. You have to be able to study self. Everything that's going on is a reflection of decisions that we may have made. It may be a reflection of our mind state. Not that you're telling yourself that you want the police to shoot you, but you're accepting the fact that the police can shoot you. You know what I'm saying? You're not saying that the police can't shoot me. You understand? You can't accept that. You know what I mean? You can't accept that. Back to what this planet on the eve of my Wednesday. Shout out to Atlanta. We will be in the ATL on Sunday, our born day. We're gonna have a pop-up shop with the shifters on Sunday. I gotta get the address for you. It's gonna be on my Instagram, EL_Filthmore. PHIL as in Phil, TH as in Thomas, MOOR as in Moreland. Filthmore. EL_Filthmore. Okay. Said the signal is bad. So, you know, that's what it is. Not this is the commercial break. We will be in Newark on Red and Blue Pill, Professor Griff, Red and Blue Pill in Newark, New Jersey. Shout out to Newark, shout out all of the family in Newark. We will be in your city, we will be in your town December 1st. Pull up. And in February, we will be in Vegas. All right. We got a Vegas date. We'll be with Professor James Smalls and also Rick Ross. The real Rick Ross is on the bill. Rick Ross on our radio show, Know the Ledge Radio, about 3 times already. Rick Ross he's an OG. Like, don't judge him just off the bat. You know what I'm talking about? Go and listen to his story. Go and hear him out. You know, he's very aware to you know, I would say the fall of America, because that's what came with crack. That was the introduction. Crack and all of these things that were plaguing our people. It's almost just saying that these are plagues. It's just better to identify them as plagues, because that's what they are in so many ways. They're plaguing our people. Our people have been plagued by the scourge of what the not just crack, but the whole drug scourge. You know, it's eating our people alive. You know what I'm talking about? Because here it is. That's a pervert. That's a people. That's a man. That's man. That comes from man not knowing thyself, going outside of self to do what? To look for some kind of resolve, going outside of self, looking for God, going outside of self, looking for some kind of power, going outside of self, looking for your answers by dealing with opiates, by dealing with the cocaine, by dealing with the alcohol. You know what I'm saying? Going outside of self, not being able to tap in. And like I said, I'm not saying that I'm not an advocate for people tapping into pharmacopoeia, but not pharmacopoeia from over the counter big pharma. I'm only speaking about magic mushrooms, sacraments, and some spirits every now and then. You know what I mean? To tap into the spirits. But we're talking about we're not talking about overindulgence. We're not talking about over access. Everything is about moderation. Negroes don't know how to moderate shit. You understand? Niggas don't know how to moderate shit. They motherfucking become junkies to shit. I'm talking about ayahuasca. I'm talking about DMT. I'm talking about moderation though. I'm talking about magic mushrooms with purpose of to take the motherfucking veils and pull them shits down, to peel back the layers and to see what it is that you need to see to become more in tune with self, for self-discovery, knowing that anything that you do is going to take you inside and not outside. It's going to project itself as shit that's going on the outside, but that's all I'm saying. That's what I would definitely say in this journey. You know, I would encourage, if you're on a journey of self-discovery, if you're on a journey of knowing more stuff, I would definitely encourage that before I would encourage people being addicted to all of these other vices or all of these other substances that are not coming from the earth, that are not necessarily natural crops and whatnot. And we know the whole conversation about the manipulation of the marijuana and things of that nature. What I would say is you should definitely be very adamant about knowing your source, where your weed, where your marijuana is coming from, and if you can grow it, if you're in a legal growing state, I would definitely encourage you to partake in that. Get some proper seeds and whatnot. Don't just be smoking anything from anybody. It's niggas out here in these streets on permanent Bluetooth mode, meaning that they're talking to themselves, but they're not wearing no Bluetooth on their motherfucking ear. They're having a conversation with a nigga, you know what I'm talking about, who's so light skinned that I see him. So, you know, yeah, well, if you don't, if you got a disagreement with Rick Ross, you're entitled to that. I have no fucking issue. I'm not gonna sit here and be Rick Ross legal defense. You know what I'm talking about? Like if you have a discrepancy with him while you're watching Snowfall, or you know what I mean, it's understood. It's understood. That crack shit is a play. You somebody, right? You got to point the finger at somebody. So if that's what it takes, I would say that if that's going to bring you resolve, if you're going to feel better about that, if you think that he's going to feel worse because you said that, then I guess that is mission accomplished for you, you know. But what I know is when before we had him as a guest, I was judging him heavy. I was mad at him. I was at the brother. I was gonna go into red pill mode on him. I was gonna eat his food. Halfway into the show, I was like, I understand what this brother's about. You know what I'm talking about? What day in February? I'll be there on the 20th. I'll be there on the 20th. Yeah, y'all say to start. All right, I understand that. Rick Ross is out there talking to children. He's in school. He's doing some shit right now. So to hold him accountable when there's niggas out here that's doing shit that could be held accountable for in the now, in the present. They out here trapping for real. You want to go and fuck with weak ass Rick Ross. You want to pick on Rick Ross and get him while he's coming out of a school or out of one of these centers where he's trying to help people turn their life around, right? Get him then, right? World star the nigga while he's at a motherfucking bingo game with old people who just came home, and he's talking to them about not going back and just sticking to bingo. You want to beat them up then, right? But you're gonna drive past all of the niggas in your hood. You're gonna drive past the trap museum. You're gonna drive past the trap house that 2 Chainz and them put up. You ain't gonna go in there looking for no trappers though. You're gonna go and pick on that dude, right? I get it. You know what I'm talking about? I get it. You know, I get it. We got to start holding ourselves accountable, definitely. Like I said earlier, if we identify the overwhelming evidence of Black ignorance dominating our everyday fucking surroundings, then we have to collectively come together and say to ourselves, how are we going to exert Black excellence? How are we going to exert some kind of Black wisdom? How are we going to exert some kind of Black knowledge? If that's what they're calling it, whatever you want to identify it as, Moorish wisdom and knowledge, whatever you want to say. How are we going to exert that the way that these niggas have been exerting this ignorance that all of our people are suffering from in some way or another? Because ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is one of the most dangerous fucking positions to be in. It's the one of the most dangerous mind states to have in 2018, going into 2019 on the heels of 2020. Mark my word. And I don't have to convince you that that's what it is. You're not gonna just. I don't think the niggas is just gonna ride through this life on motherfucking cruise control on the ignorance fucking highway. You know what I mean? And not crash their car. I'm gonna have to start the stream back because the time is running out on this one. You know what I'm saying? That's not what's gonna happen. That's not what's gonna happen. Ignorance is the motherfucking root of all evil. It's not knowledge. Knowledge is not the root of all evil. It's the ignorance. The ignorance, the ignorance of who you are, the ignorance of who I am, the ignorance of who your people are, the ignorance of who your culture, what your culture really represent, right? The ignorance of your greatness, the ignorance of your strengths and your weaknesses, all of these ignorances, the ignorance of the divinity, the ignorance of the worth, the self-worth, the ignorance of the actual the invaluableness of the black woman. That ignorance is causing untold trauma everywhere around the world. You can you could bullshit with rap if you want. You could debate that shit if you want. You could deny it all day. You dig what I'm saying? Have a good time doing that and get back at me when you finish doing that, and I'll look over whatever, whatever your defense is, and we could talk about it. But from where I stand, from my vantage point, from my perspective, not being judgmental, just being an observer, the ignorance aspect is it's not it's smart ignorant niggas out here. You dig what I'm saying? Like, it's not only secluded to people who are considered 85ers or dumb niggas or knuckle draggers. No, this is so they got some sophisticated savages amongst us. You got sophisticated savages, and they're ignorant to your greatness. They're ignorant to their greatness. They might be smart, they might be wise, they might know how to recite information that they come across and then present it to you. You dig what I'm saying? In a way that you may feel that it's their information and you're wowed by it, but they're ignorant because they're out here playing games with the people, or they're out here doing what it is that they do, and they're ignorant to the fact that everybody ain't stupid and everybody ain't dumb as they are, as dumb as they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody ain't as fucking retarded as you. You know what I'm saying? Like, people see the hypocrisy, the bullshit, the corniness, the agent provocateurism, the double standards. You got sociopaths, you got psychopaths. It's not just Donald Trump. It's niggas in the conscious community. It's niggas at your job. It's niggas in the streets at the fucking corner store. It's psychopaths and sociopaths and narcissists and people who are toxic all around us. It's not just the president. He seems to be a reflection of what the majority of this fucking nation is at this point. Real talk. Don't just give it to Donald. You know what I mean? He's perfected the art of that shit, and niggas are taking notes. Please believe it. It's out, niggas out there taking notes, and they're following his lead. You know what I'm saying? And they're following his lead. But we have to be the opposite of this ignorance, this black ignorance, this black ignorance, these black ignorance. Because niggas is like, yo, black is cosmic. Nigga, you don't act cosmic. Have a fucking seat on Uranus. You know what I mean? And shut the fuck up with that stupid shit. Yo, black is everything, the color that it absorbs. Nigga, you don't act like you absorbed all colors. You dick riding white. You niggas is off white. You know what I'm saying? Get out of here with that. You don't act like you've absorbed all of the colors. You're not a global city. You're not acting globally. You're not making no global moves. You're not absorbing all of the colors around the fucking globe. Have a seat. You know what I'm saying? What are you talking about? You niggas just be talking to talk, just to hear yourself sometimes. That's what a lot of our people do. We love to hear ourselves because we're very we're very musical like. You know, that's what we love to do. All of this, what black is, and black excellent. What is black excellence? And how do black excellence carry itself? How the fuck do they supposed to sound? What do they smell like? How do they walk? How do they talk? Where do they live? Huh? What do they wear? How is their hair? Let me know. Because y'all be talking all of that hot shit, but you're not acting, you're not being. You niggas think that you're acting like you're knowing shit. You act like you know something. You in the realm of the knower. You're not in the realm of being. And I'm not indicting everybody with a broad brush because I don't have the power to do such. I'm just giving you my observation. Once again, I'm testifying to the shit that I've seen in this motherfucking story excellence. And how do we hold each other accountable when we're not participating in black excellence? How many times could a nigga be tagged as a black coon, as a black devil, before you never in your life would fucking call him black excellence or try to say, oh, that's black excellence? No, these niggas are treating consciousness like they treated motherfucking Christianity. They're doing fuck shit, and then one day these niggas make up for it like they're in church, pass the motherfucking plate around, and then go right back to thotting again, go right back to hustling again, go right back to thieving, go right back to killing, go all of these things. It's not real. Nobody is held accountable. You only are these in this community. You just waiting for the infraction to come down from the ancestor realm. It's like a fucking ticket. Sometimes you just gotta show up to court a few and pay a fine and do it again. You know what I'm saying? Do it again. Not too many niggas is getting help. Not too many niggas. They on a, you know, they lady justice is blind in the community right now. It's blind in the community right now. You know what I'm saying? Some niggas is on probation. They can't beat on their chest the way that they used to do, but they're planning on getting that fucking ankle bracelet off and then going ham again because nobody is really being held accountable because you can't go upside niggas' heads right now. You know what I mean? Like back in the days, you can't punish these motherfuckers. So the market or this fucking this marketplace that we find ourselves in, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. This whole community, it's a marketplace now because it's mixed in with woke. You know what I mean? Because all of the quote unquote underground conscious teachers or scholars have integrated into the woke commercial marketplace, that ecosphere, where in that inside of that ecosphere, that's where the buffer system is. That's where niggas is gonna snipe you. That's where you're gonna get jammed up, right in that motherfucking buffer space. You know how North Korea and them got the buffer space, a DMZ zone? Well, that's what this woke marketplace is, where niggas play around on Vlad TV all day. They play around on World Star. They play around on these quote unquote these platforms that are not. These platforms are not friendly to you. These platforms are not conducive to what it is. These platforms are, you know what I mean? Like these platforms are motherfucking the police and all kind of other things. When you have these Black Lives Matter type of organizations that are these non-for-profit organizations that are run by the same people who basically infiltrated our people back in the days. That's how they came in with these programs when they were like, oh, we're going to help you feed the people, and to introduce their kind of shit, the LBGT agenda. All of that coke started coming in. Niggas couldn't afford coke back in the days, but when the white people showed up, so did the coke. And then everybody was on coke, fucking Becky's and whatnot. You did you read any of the books from the 60s and whatnot? Yeah. You know what I mean? And then the women's right thing came, and that was on the arm of that. And our sisters started going gay, and our sisters started going against the brothers, and our sisters started marching for a whole nother agenda. And our sisters went from white people traumatizing them to working for them, seeing the motherfucking standard that everybody had to rise up to. I don't understand what our people's mind state was at that point. It confuses me. How could you go from them traumatizing you, terrorizing you? They were hanging people, Jim Crow. They were lynching people, Jim Crow. They were hitting niggas with rocks. They were assassinating our leaders. So how the fuck do you go from them traumatizing you to making the standard of what the fuck the dream of Martin Luther was, to get a job with them? I don't get that. You know what I mean? To go to work for them. I don't get that shit. Like, where's the fucking smarts in that? Where's the wisdom in that? Failure. That was a fucking that was malware inside of the program. You know what I mean? That's a glitch in the matrix. It doesn't make sense to me. Nobody atoned for the atrocities that they committed. Nobody atoned for that. So now, fast forward today, let's choose the comparison. All of the hip hoppers have integrated with the liberals, right? You know what I mean? The LBGT has infiltrated into the woke community. Thenceforth, Black Twitter, Black Lives Matter, all of these different organizations who have been shown have puppet masters behind the scenes who are bringing them in and telling them where to go, and then saying, yo, align yourself with this person, find out what this person is, find out what this organization is about, da 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 da. You know what I mean? And this whole shit is crawling with agents right now. This whole shit is crawling with triple and double agents right now. You can't trust. They're bodying a lot of the people in St. Louis. You can see how their program works by seeing what's taking place in St. Louis, Missouri, when a lot of the people who are the real ones are getting murked. They're getting silenced. They're getting killed. They hung Danye in his mother's backyard out there. He's about the fourth or the fifth activist related death after the Mike Brown. It was a remember that Mike Brown situation was considered a psyops. Not to say that his death was not real, his murder was real. What took place after the murder, you have to go and do the research on that. George Soros purchased a 4-hour news block, a media block, meaning that you can purchase time in the media. You can purchase a block of time. He purchased a 48-hour media block, right? Doing so, Mike Brown's body laid on the ground for 4 hours. You know what I'm talking about? The Poland's split, right? We were introduced to D. Ray Blue Vest, the advocate dude, who made it all the way to the White House. You never saw him before that. He made it all the way to sitting with Obama, right? We're introduced to him. He has this fake arrest and all of that stuff where he was, I'm on the ground, and like, it was almost like Darren Seals was like the shit was orchestrated. The camera, and he takes the whole conversation off of the real activists who are demanding real shit go down. Bad signal. It looks clear to me, man. I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? We just gotta have, if the audio is good, then don't worry about the vision. Or refresh your computer. So that the LBGT Black Lives Matter conversation is highlighted, and it's highlighted, right? And when it's highlighted, they begin to move away from the demands that the real activists were making on the ground. Because remember, there was a time that they had the city shook. There was a time that they had the city, under siege. The signal is... So they had the city under siege. So people they were like, yo, let me hear. All right, let me refresh this. All right.